I'm here with Brendan, or better known as Player Unknown. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks so much.
So we're here at DreamHack Atlanta, where we've had some Player Unknown Battlegrounds, tournaments going on. Did you get a chance to check those out?
Yeah, I got to watch some of them over the weekend, and then seeing a lot of players in the free play area playing the game was great.
So you also did a meet and greet yesterday, and you got to meet a lot of fans here. What did you expect before going into that?
Not as many people. No, I thought maybe 20, 30 people would show up, and I was there for like an hour and a half.
Yeah, it was packed.
It really was. It was lovely to meet so many people, and everyone telling me like I heard things like whole families have started gaming because of the game, and they're buying gaming PCs for their mom because she likes to play the game, and like crazy stories. It was great.
Did you expect the game to take off to this level?
No. No, I knew it would be somewhat successful because people like battle royales, and I thought people would like a more tactical one. But to the extent, like, we broke 420,000 people online last night at the same time, which is just insane.
It's a huge concurrent player base.
Because like when we were coming up, everyone was obviously saying, we'd be competing with, H1, and now we're like competing obviously with CS:GO, like, which is insane to me. After 4 months, like, it's great, but.
Well, you definitely have more of a legacy than just those 4 months. I mean, the game in some form or another has been around for quite a while.
Yeah.
What would you say is the first inception?
Oh, that was like DayZ Battle Royale back in Arma 2. It was me learning to mod and basically taking someone else's mod and adding my own rules to it. Like, I don't call Battle Royale like a mod, it's more like a game mode that I created with other people's mods.
So what gave you the idea to push towards this, tactical survival, everything that it is?
So in Arma 3, it's like super milsim, and then the H1 version simplified it a bit, and I wanted always to do something closer to the Arma 3 kind of original mod. With Battlegrounds, I got to do that and still make it relatively easy to play. There's no, it's not as clunky and stuff. It is still a little clunky, but it's part of the joy of the game. It feels a little bit more realistic, I think.
So we have seen a little bit of an eSports scene develop, and we're definitely moving in that direction. Is that something you wanted when you started making the standalone version? Oh,
for sure. Like, I always saw Battle Royale game mode as a great esport. Like, I love watching esports, but I want to create like a bigger spectacle of having 6,400 people in the room, playing on computers and having a crowd watching them. And I like that idea. So. Like, I definitely always wanted esports for the Battle Royale game mode, but we want to take things slowly and talk to the teams and organizations and find out what they want from an esport, because no one's really done a Battle Royale esport before, so we want to take it slowly and make sure we do it right.
So what are some of the challenges that you see with developing it into an esport? What do you have to navigate?
I mean, like, even just the idea, like, there's 64 players per round. Like, you can't bring 1,000 players to an event. It's, logistically a nightmare. So we have to figure out ways to do it with smaller groups of people. And, that's why we're talking to all the major organizations to figure out, like, LAN events like DreamHack are great because, like, people bring their own computers and you can quite easily have hundreds of players playing in events during the day. So, we have to work on it and talk to people. We'll get it figured out. We got some smart people on it.
So aside from esports, this is obviously, you said, almost 500,000 concurrent players.
Yeah.
But the game is obviously going to keep developing. What's the next step you want to take with it?
Well, we're building this out more as like a service rather than a game, so we'll constantly be adding on content, even upgrading stuff. Like myself and one of the lead terrain artists, we're talking about maybe next year or 2 years we'll look back at the original map and redo it and upgrade it to make it look more beautiful and more realistic. And that's what we want to do, is just keep releasing new content and new patches to make the game run better and give players more ways to play our game mode and the other game modes they create in like custom games and stuff.
What about game mechanics? So I know that there's a lot of different weapons. There's things that are armor that you wouldn't expect to be armor. So how do those things come about, and are you going to add a lot more? Are you going to balance patch them?
So the pan came about, one of our programmers kind of snuck in we were practicing like internally, seeing if we could actually put protection on the pan and make it not penetrate bullets and stuff. And he kind of snuck it into the game without telling anyone, and then PC Gamer covered it the next day saying, oh look, pan has like, but it's turned out to be an amazing thing. And I like the fact, like, we'll eventually add penetration, so it'll still protect you, but not to the extent that it does that 50 people can't shoot at your pan. But yeah, no, we want to just keep adding sort of newer, like just more detail and stuff into the game to make it a little bit more fun to play.
So what do you look at to draw inspiration or balance changes in? Do you pay attention to articles that come out or responses on Reddit or big streamers?
Oh, to it all. Like we have a data science team that look at the hard numbers of like how people are getting play or playing the game and when they're dying. And but we also look, we have a forum and Reddit and like even my Twitter stream that like I'll just post stuff to an internal forum and it'll be added to bug fix lists and like we really listen to the community very strongly developing this game.
So a little outside of the game and maybe a little more about you. What got you into gaming in the first place?
Saving to get home from Brazil to Ireland. And like I was never a big gamer. I was a DJ and photographer and graphic designer and I didn't play a lot of games or didn't have time to. And then when I was in Brazil, I was saving to get home and I discovered DayZ, which made me fall in love with gaming again because there was no story. It would just do what you want. And I loved that idea. And that's where Battle Royale came from. And yeah, it was like, yeah, just DayZ. It got me back into gaming.
So you're very selective about the games you like. Do you like your game?
Oh yeah, no, I play it, but it's just like, especially during the day, like a lot of the team love playing the game, but I find it too stressful. You know, I'm playing it during the day and then I want to play another game if I don't win, and if I do win, then I'm like sitting shaking up my desk for a while, and that's not very productive to getting stuff done.
So what has your schedule been like now that the game's exploded? You know, now that it's not just strictly developmental anymore, but there's obviously all of these promotional aspects to it. What's happened to your life?
I travel a lot. Like, I mean, I spent a week back in Korea before coming here, and before that I was like 5 weeks on the road. I did like Seattle, Sweden, Amsterdam, London, Ireland, back to the US, then Korea again, and then here. So it's been all over the place, but I'm not going to complain. You know, it's I get to travel a lot. Yeah, right. First world problems.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, traveling is exciting, but also tiring and hard to see friends and family.
I have a daughter back in Ireland, so like, you know, I don't know when I'm going to get back next to see her because, you know, but she understands, you know, like she turns around and is like, oh my God, Jacksepticeye, playing your game. And like, he followed me back on Twitter there, so I'll get sure of that and go, hey. So she knows what it is and understands it, so it's fine.
Does she play?
No, she has a Mac, so we don't support those yet.
Oh, okay, all right, one of those gaming companies, I see. So are there plans to obviously expand to Mac and you know, just every system possible, or? Maybe
sometime in the future, but right now, you know, we have, like, even though we've, like, the team, I came back after those 5 weeks traveling, the team had like expanded, like there was a lot of new faces, but even still, like, we're still quite limited in what we can do because we're trying to focus on, you know, core issues like server performance and client performance and really put as many people as we can on those issues. So, you know, stuff like Linux and Mac, you know, there's just not the player base there to support, you know, putting massive amounts of money into developing something for this. So we will hopefully in the future get there, but right at the moment, you know, we just can't.
So with the player base expanding so rapidly, has it been challenging to kind of keep up with that and meet all the demands?
To an extent, we have a great team, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, we've missed weeks, you know, when we pushed out patches to which people are saying, oh my God, game is dead, that's it, I'm done. And that's funny to see, but you know, we have a really great team that, like, they don't want to push out unstable builds. It's like the motto is build as king, and you know, we really want to push out like more and more monthly, and as we get through early access weekly updates, we'll probably slow down a little bit because the game will become more stable. So you know, and we just want to get the game finished and really to a full state of everything we've kind of said we want to put in over the last 6 months.
So I heard you talking before about sort of new places you would like the game to expand to with like bigger scenarios and a lot more people. Is that something that's new on the horizon or just sort of a pipe dream in the future?
Well, no, it's more like a dream of mine, but we have custom games. So, you know, as we expand that feature, you know, more and more people will be able to, you know, create these new game modes with bigger people, like, as you said, like guys like Stone Mountain doing 50v50s and stuff like that, which is just, we want to provide a playground, you know, and we're not going to provide as many game modes as everyone wants. You know, the community will do that. You know, it's the great thing about modding and custom games is that the community get to create these game modes. You know, we just provide the playground and you know, I've done my game modes. I create a battle royale and I have a few others I want to do, but now it's the community's turn to find the next player unknown, I guess.
So with all of these mods, they do rely on someone being very driven, as you obviously were. Is there ever a chance that you guys would kind of see a mod that was really attractive and join up and support it and help maintain it?
No, we've talked about this internally, that like if a community member creates a game mode or a mod that's super successful, like we have no problems in talking to them further and maybe bringing it into the game officially and stuff like that. You know, we want to support the community. Like you look at games like, you know, Grand Theft Auto 4 and Skyrim and stuff that have still massive player bases because, you know, people enjoy adding stuff, and it's just that freedom to let them play the game however they want.
All right, well, I'm gonna end this interview and let you go. But one, last thing, have you ever been to a DreamHack before?
Yeah, I was at DreamHack Summer, so I guess like one of the original DreamHacks.
Yes, that's the big,
that's
the
a
big
crazy
one.
DreamHack. Like, I mean, it is. It's nuts. I mean, it's. Yeah, but it's beautiful, but it's nuts. It's seeing like all the, like especially the high stacked computers with like flags, and it really feels like a massive party. It's great.
So is it very different from the other events that you've been attending in the last several months?
Well, no, this is just more about gamers, you know, that like here playing games and everyone is playing games. You know, it's not like a lot of the bigger conventions, it's you're playing games where you have to queue for 2 hours to play a game, you know, that there's no massive spaces for people to just go and play and bring your own computer. That's why I kind of love DreamHack.
All right, and now last thing, what's the favorite thing that you've seen at either, this DreamHack or the previous one? What's your best memory?
Oh God, well, seeing like our game being played at the last DreamHack and having like people cast it was great. You know, it was like the first step in kind of like, oh look, this is like a good spectator sport, and we had like 200-300 people in the auditorium watching, which was nice, and it felt kind of exciting. So yeah, it was a good memory.
Well, thanks for letting us get to know PlayerUnknown a little bit better.
Thanks for your time.
And I'm glad you enjoyed DreamHack Atlanta, and I look forward to getting to play your game.
Me too. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
You too.